Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Can you believe it? There is only three more series in the Big Ten left of this 2024 season, but I'm going to give you a little update before we get into our guests. Northwestern right now leads the way at 12-1. Michigan at 10-3. They swept Iowa this past weekend. They had two walk-offs on Saturday and Sunday. Penn State dropped to 9. They lost one to Michigan State on Sunday. Nebraska at 8-3. They took the series in game 3 in 8 innings. Minnesota dropped to 7-5. Purdue 7-5. They climbed up and they set a new program record of 7 straight Big Ten wins. Rutgers at 8-6 and Indiana 6-6. And today we are bringing on the junior All-American outfielder for Indiana, who had an incredible weekend, Taylor Minnick. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, let me set the scene about what an amazing weekend you've had. I want to go into the last game. You came up in the first inning, you hit a home run, and then they were able to get a little bit back. It's 4-4 in the bottom of the 7th, and then you hit your second home run of the game to have your team win it in extra innings. Bring me back to that moment. What did it feel like for you?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. That's actually my first walk-off in college too, so that was something new for me. So that was pretty fun. I just felt good the whole game. Like I said, I started the game with the home run, and then I had a double, and then going up in that at bat, like I felt good going into the bat. And I remember turning to one of my teammates, Sarah Stone, and I was like, I'm gonna walk it off right here. So it felt good to call the shot. Yeah.
I love the confidence. That is awesome. And especially because Minnesota has been playing really tough these past few weekends. And this was a really important statement weekend for you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Their offense has been great. So it's been fun to watch them. And then obviously us getting the sweep against them. That was a huge win, especially with the series last year not going the way we wanted. So it was good to get them back there.
I think I even saw after the walk-off that you got a chain. Like you guys are kind of known for the fun things. What does that element just add to you guys as a team?
Yeah, it's a new thing this year. I don't know where it really started. We just had it in the clubhouse, I think, for like recruits. And then we're like, let's bring it out to the games. And then we've kind of just been doing it after we hang it up with our home run celebration. We get the chain on. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
I love it. And let's talk about Big Ten play because you had two tough opponents right out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
You faced Penn State, Michigan. Those are weekends I'm sure you guys wanted to get back, but were able to use it really as a lesson and are playing your best softball yet. What were you guys saying to yourselves, each other in those moments that have led you to success on the other side?
Yeah, those first 2 weekends were pretty tough. The two great teams, like it was great to start with two great teams like that because, why not start with the best? But yeah, we were pretty 0-6 was not really what we expected, coming into the season. I know that's not what probably fans expected, or especially us as a team. And it was pretty tough on us. But I remember after the Michigan series, I went into coach's office and I was kind of like, I think we need to have a little team talk, clear it all, erase it all, like get everything out that we need to get out because, now's the time. We still have plenty of time to, make it for our postseason and stuff like that. So we just kind of had to talk and just said that the results, like we can't do anything about it now. So just do what we can now to get the results that we want. I think we were really focusing on the results those first two series because we kind of came into it thinking, we were going to be the top of the Big Ten. But yeah, just focusing on what we can do to get the results that we want and not what the results in the past were was one main thing we focused on.
I love what you said about sometimes it's the pressure that you put on yourselves because that feels like the biggest hurdle as an athlete. I mean, you guys had such a great season last year in the Big Ten, and you come out, expecting to kind of pick right where you left off. Everyone was talking about you guys, but how have you been able to kind of take that pressure off of yourself because it can get really heavy to carry?
Yeah, no, like the Big Ten has been wide open since, the first day of the season. Like and it's still wide open. We have some Northwestern and stuff like that. They're up to the top right now, but we get a 3-game series against them at the end of the year. So that'll be something big for us. Yeah, it takes a lot of pressure off when we just know what we can do. Like this past weekend, I think we really showed what Indiana softball is about with the hitting. And then now we're adding the pitching aspect into more and our pitchers are looking great. So it's a lot less pressure when we're all, playing our best game, and we're all gelling well together.
You mentioned the parity of the Big Ten. I think this is the conference that everyone put a question mark at the beginning of the season because was so many questions and so many talented players on different teams. What have you seen as conference play has kind of unraveled, which seems to have surprised you, or is it still living up to that big parity that you thought it would be?
Yeah, I know it's definitely a slugfest right now. Like you see some of these scores, like last week in Minnesota, I think won 13-12 against Ohio State, and then us putting up 15 against Minnesota. Like it's all gonna be about the hitting and who can out hit each team to win the Big Ten at this point. So yeah, it's been fun to watch, definitely.
When people see those scores, I think they don't even realize how hitting can be so contagious. It's like when you see one of your teammates hit a home run, all of a sudden you're like, well, I can hit a home run. And then it trickles down, and I don't know how to explain it, but it really is. People just build off of each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
You talk about your pitching and how that's really finding himself. You're playing along Brianna Copeland, who one of the best two-way players in the Big Ten in the country. What is it like to be one of her teammates, to see what she's doing on the mound and then at the plate?
Yeah, no, she's awesome out there. Even on like some of her worst days, like it's still like, Bree's just different. Like she's awesome to be around, and she's a great person. She brings a lot of happiness and, joy to this team. So it's great to have a teammate like Bree, and just being able to, go in on an off day and stuff like that to hit and work out with someone like Bree. Like on an off day, she's, benching 185, just doing some crazy stuff. Like she's an awesome player and an awesome person. So it's awesome to have someone like that on the team.
I love hearing about the weight room for different programs. Like, who are the people who are obsessed putting up the big numbers?
Yeah, Bree obviously can put up big numbers everywhere. Avery puts up a lot of big numbers, and Kinsey Mitchell, like our short little slapper, like she could squat, she could bench, she can do some crazy numbers. So it's fun to have people like that push you in the weight room, definitely.
What is your specialty? Do you have like a certain movement that you're like, this one's mine?
I really enjoy back squatting. That's probably too. Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, if I could just get rid of everything with the cleans, I would have been great.
Yeah.
Back squatting is wonderful.
Yeah. We do a lot of like Versa climber, like for conditioning. So that's one thing that our team's got down pretty well. We do Versa quite a bit, and it gets fun once you get the hang of doing it. So yeah, I'd say I'm pretty good at Versa too.
Which is impressive, because for those who don't know what the Versa climber is, you're like literally running up a wall. You're moving your arms and your legs, and it's terrible. I think I actually like running more than that, which is saying a lot. But the fact that you like it, like, I give you so much props.
Yeah.
You mentioned Coach Stanton and how you were able to come into her office after having those 2 tough weekends. I feel like that really shows the player-coach relationship that you have with her, and that's something that and playing against you guys, the previous years, I always felt like she was such a player's coach. What is she like playing for her?
I mean, it's pretty awesome. I know I can go into her office anytime I want about, it doesn't have to be about softball. I know her door is always wide open, and same with the rest of the coaching staff. Like they're so welcoming and want us, come in there and chit chat or talk ball or just, talk about whatever. So it was pretty easy, going in there, talking to her about that, because I think she saw the frustration on the team, how frustrated we were. And then just me personally, I hate losing, and I know she does too. So it was pretty easy to go in there and tell her like, hey, I think we can, change things, we can fix things. And she just kind of gave it to me and let me lead and what I wanted to say with that. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
What does it mean for you to have that permission to lead this team? Like, what is your goal in leading them?
Yeah. It's my goal, like mainly for me, like I'm not really someone that uses my voice probably as much as other people do. Like I feel like our seniors do a great job in leading with their voice and telling us to do certain things and stuff like that. When I lead, I try and just, lead by my actions and what I do on the field or off the field, on an off day and stuff like that. So that's where I try and step in and lead. And so I think for me, like trying to lead the group in what we're doing on an off day, are we coming in and, getting reps off the machine and getting outside and throwing, pitching, stuff like that. I think that's where I excel when we're leading, to just try and lead by example.
Those are the most powerful leaders, I feel, in my own experience. And having players who have led me, they don't even need to talk the talk. Like you're walking the walk. So is that what an off day looks like for you guys at Indiana? You're still coming in, getting the work done.
Yeah, we have, an optional team lift we usually go in and do. We come in and hit and do stuff on our own quite a bit. We have two fun machines to hit off of. One's to feel good and one's to make you not feel that great, but it's always going to help you in the end. But yeah, we always are in here working on the off days, definitely.
So which machine are you hitting off more? The feel good or the not feel as good?
I think I start off on the not, I'm not going to feel as great. And then I go to the one where I'm like, yeah, I'll get some barrels here and I'll end on this one feeling good. But yeah, definitely before a game, I'm going to get some feel good swings in.
There you go. I love it. Ending on a strong note. You are a home state kid. You grew up in Indiana. Was it always your dream to end up playing for the Hoosiers?
Yeah, I mean, I think growing up, I always, everyone always dreams of just playing college softball in general. So it's definitely special to, be your home state. And then growing up here in Bloomington too, it makes it even more special. I remember coming here to games with my dad before even Coach Stanton and Coach Bell and them were on the coaching staff. So I always grew up coming to softball games, basketball games. We're a big basketball state. So it was always a dream of mine to, come and be in the cream and crimson for sure. Yeah.
So does it ever kind of feel like such a full circle moment for you when you're on the field and you look up in the stands and you see young girls knowing I used to be one of them?
Yeah, it's really special. Like this past Sunday, we had Little Sis Day, and it's like a program we have where we just have little girls. We write notes to them, and they write notes to us back, and we just kind of communicate that way. And today, it was on Sunday. They came to the games, and we did some stuff pregame with them and stuff like that. So I think it's really special. Like some of the kids I have go to the high school I went and the school I went. So being able to talk to those girls and say like, I was in your shoes once and now I'm out here playing like at my dream school. So it's pretty special to be able to see that, definitely.
What do you try to show them as a role model, just in the way you play or what you want them to take from who you are as a player in person?
Yeah, just that, I love the game of softball. Like when you see me out there, like I love being at the plate. If I could just be up there hitting all day long, like I would love it. And I think I've became to love the outfield more too. I've been playing outfield more this year, and I think it's been, really fun, throwing some girls out. You don't really get to see that often, throwing girls out from the outfield. So stuff like that, just that I love the game of softball and I love to compete. And so when I am up at the plate, like I'm going to do whatever I can to compete and just show people that I love the game of softball. Yeah.
I never played the outfield, but for me, I always feel like the best part would be throwing people out because I've, obviously sat through a mazillion practices in my day. And it's like, you guys always finish practice that way, throwing somebody out at home, but then it maybe happens like once in a series.
Yeah.
So when you get that opportunity, it's like your heart rate coming up. You're like, oh man, this is it.
Yeah. It's awesome. You never really get the shot to do it, but when you do, like you're ready for it. That's one thing. Yeah.
Okay. So would you take throwing out a girl at home or hitting a home run?
A home run all day long. Yeah. Yeah. Hitting's my thing. I love hitting. So I would take a home run all day long.
Where did this love for hitting come for you?
I just think, practicing a bunch, like I've practiced hitting a lot and I've, practiced softball a lot, but I think just the grind and like the struggles and the ups and downs that you get through hitting, like you could go 3 for 3 one game and the next game you could go 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. Like you just never know. And it's a tough game and it's a tough mental part of the softball game is hitting. But I think that's what I love the most because it's so challenging and just being able to, the outcomes that you do get, like it feels so great with how challenging hitting really is. So, yeah.
It's such a rare mindset and speaks to why you are as talented as you are. Did you ever feel like there was a swing or a hitter that you tried to emulate or still do in your game?
I mean, there's obviously, the great hitters that you watch, like a Skylar Wallace and, other hitters like that. You always watch their swing and you're like, that's an awesome swing. But I think I've just kind of built my own swing into, just how I am and how I feel. And so I feel like just watching, past films of, a great hit that I've had and rewatching that when I am kind of maybe down or struggling, like seeing what I can do with my swing. Like, I think that's what helps me the most and not more just like someone else that I've looked up to with that.
You're a one of one. I love it. When I introduced you coming in, I talked about how you are an All-American. For
Mhm.
somebody who grew up in Indiana, let's talk about it just being a Midwest player. For years, there was that notion of people had to go out to West Coast, or down south to get the talent. What does it mean for you being a Midwest, being an Indiana kid, to then be given something as great as an All-American?
Yeah, it's pretty special. I remember the day that coach called me and she was like, "Dude, you're an All-American." And I really had no idea. Like I know I had a great season, but there's so many great players out there and so many things have to go, right for something like that to happen. So it was pretty special. And I grew up playing with a lot of great players in the Midwest. I feel like most of my travel team was, Midwest girls. So I think it's pretty special to be able to, say I'm an All-American in the Midwest, definitely. And especially here in Indiana.
So you grew up playing for the Beverly Bandits, the
Yeah.
same program that I grew up, and I agree. I felt like it was such a neat program where it did have, I don't want to say the top, but it was the top at the time. But I feel like really the most dedicated players in the Midwest, the girls who were willing to sacrifice all of their weekends, their proms, their homecomings to travel over the country. What was it like for you playing in an organization like that? Because I know for me, since playing from them, I feel like it didn't matter what softball field I was stepping on. I always recognized somebody in the other dugout.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was an awesome experience for me. I still have a lot of my best friends, I talk to them every day from, Bandits, and we get to play two of them tonight. So it'll be really special to see them and rekindle with them. And I feel like we played the best competition. I think that's what's really helped me to where I am right now. Like just being able, when I was younger, like playing against those tougher competitions and, having those struggles then, like I've been able to understand and get through my struggles now better with the organization I played for. And like I said, those were some of the best years that I've had and some of my best friends I've made. So it was a pretty special experience.
The greatest part about softball really is the people you meet along the way. I love how you mentioned you played tonight. Anna Holloway, Shelby Graham. I'm sure those are the two,
Yeah, yeah.
which is awesome. Well, before we started recording, you mentioned how 9 players on your team went down to play in a summer league down in Florida that's become more and more popular every single
Mhm.
year. What was that experience like for you guys to just get done spending how many months together and then to continue playing softball, but in a warmer state? And
Mhm.
where do you feel like you guys grew as teammates, but also as players?
Yeah, it was a really fun experience. Like we played, we practiced, we did a lot down there, and I was on the team with one other of my teammates, and so the rest of us were on different teams. So it was kind of fun to like play against each other, but we'd still come in and practice together and get our summer lift in and stuff like that. So that was really fun. And I remember that summer league, I struggled pretty bad offensively down there. So I felt like maybe that's what helped me my sophomore year. I got all my, bad hits out in the summer league, but it was definitely a lot of fun and we had a lot of experiences with it and I made a lot of new friends from different teams that way too. So it was an awesome experience. I would definitely recommend it to anyone that would want to play in the summer. Yeah.
I was going to say, because I haven't seen any bad performances of you ever in your career in the Big Ten. So that would be foreign to me. You guys have 3 important series coming up.
Mhm.
You mentioned Northwestern at the end. You're headed down to Evanston. But before that, you have Iowa and Wisconsin. Kind of where is your guys' focus and what are you talking about in these 3 weeks? And how do you want to really finish?
Yeah, we're just kind of going day by day here. We're not trying to look too far ahead or, obviously in the past, we can't control what's happened in the past and we can only, do what's in front of us. So I think us going day by day and just making coach always says we're making, this game championship Sunday. Like this is, the biggest game for us. And we need to treat every game that way right now. Throughout the Big Ten and even these midweek games, like every game's a championship Sunday and it's going to be the biggest game for us. So that's the main thing we're focusing on right now.
And then after regular season play, I know we're looking a little bit far ahead, but
Mm,
you have the Big Ten tournament. And that is something that, I mean, you guys excelled in the tournament, finished in the championship game. I know it was a back and forth battle,
yeah.
but do you feel like you guys have even more eyes and almost revenge and want to be able to get that title this year?
Yeah, no, the way, the championship game ended last year, like, it was a bummer the way it ended. It was a great game from both teams, a huge pitching duel, like, 2 great pitchers going at it together. So it was awesome to be a part of, and obviously we weren't on, the right side of it that we wanted to end. But I think now that we're all, a year older and we're have more experience in that kind of situation, like, I think we're ready for the Big Ten tournament. And coach always says you only need to be great, in 3 days in May. So like those 3 days are the days we need to be great, and it'll be good.
Talk to me about this team because right now you guys are in the hardest season. You have 3 games during the week, 3 games on the weekend. It can feel grueling and a lot, but what are ways you're able to still spend with each other outside of the softball field? Is there certain things that you guys like to do with one another?
Yeah, so our seniors have like a log cabin that's their house right now. Like
Oh
that's
my
the house
goodness.
they have this year. Yeah, they live in like a log cabin. So we've kind of went out there a couple times and, had like a fire, or for someone's birthday, we kind of got together and just, had some s'mores and hung out there. And then we have our Bible study leader. She always invites us out to her house, and we get to do Bible study once a week, which is really special. We get to have something like that. And so most of us girls go to that. So it's pretty cool. We get to do, obviously we spend a lot of time together on the softball field and here at the clubhouse, but we also have a lot of fun together, like outside of softball too. So yeah.
Okay, how did this log cabin become a thing? Like, I'm literally picturing out in the middle of nowhere. Like, is
Yeah.
it close to campus?
Yeah, it's only like 5 minutes away from campus. Like it's not too far at all. But yeah, they have like a log cabin, and 4 of the seniors live there, I'm pretty sure, and then one other junior lives there. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's kind of out by one of our lakes here in Bloomington. So yeah.
Is that something that your class wants to take over after their
No,
goals?
no, my class is not doing that.
Goodbye with the log cabin.
Yeah, no, that's a 1-year thing for them, but it's fun. It's fun to have something like that we can all, get together and hang out at that isn't the softball field. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Talking about Bible study, that is probably one of the experiences I cherish the most with my team
Mhm.
throughout my time. It's a way to connect with, not only your faith, but with your teammates in a different way,
Yeah.
more personal way. What has that meant for you, and how much does faith play into your game?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And her name's Stacy Marshall, and she does so much for us. We get texts daily, good lucks, and even through the hard times. Like I think she's really helped us out when we are struggling. Like she reminds us that it's just a game. Like it's not who we really are, stuff like that. So it's pretty special to have someone like that in our lives, softball wise. Like most teams don't get to have something like that, and she's like I said, she's a big part of our program. So it's really awesome to have someone like that lead something like this. But yeah, it's really cool to have that.
Is there a certain, verse or something that really sticks with you throughout your game, or a way that you're reminding yourself before the game, during the game, of your faith?
Yeah, I know. Every before the game when we're doing the national anthem, I always do a quick prayer. I have 2 of my grandparents passed away this past year, and so they were both really special to me. And they, grew up always watching my game. So I always, say a quick prayer, and I know that, my grandparents are down watching me and stuff like that. So that's something I always do before the game to remind me. Yeah.
That is special. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, but I'm glad you feel their presence. Being from Indiana that we mentioned earlier, what does it
Mhm.
mean to have your family so close and to be such a big part of this journey with you?
Yeah, no, it's pretty awesome. I, look up in the stands, or sometimes I sit out in center field and hang out there with the parents. But being able to look into the stands and see a lot of my family there, and especially just like my dad and my mom there, but especially my dad, like we grew up butting heads a lot and, doing so much together. And so me being able to be successful and him see that like right there, and be able to come to almost all of my games the past 3 years because, we are in the Midwest and we get to stay a little bit more closer. It's been really special.
Has there been a shift in a relationship with your dad from butting heads to, okay, now you've made it at this level. He understands like you're probably even more harder on yourself and try to give the other way?
Yeah, we still butt heads a little bit. He gives me a hard time, but I know that, he's doing it for what's best for me. And so yeah.
I love it. Well, I did do a little research and it seems like you are a country music fan. So
Yeah.
I had to ask, top 3 country music songs, what would you pick?
I'm a big Morgan Wallen fan, so mostly, anything he sings. I'm big into the song called "Beautiful Drug" right now by the
Great
Zach
song.
band. It's a great song. He's
That was
awesome.
like a few years ago, but I'm gonna bring it back
Yeah,
now that you say
yeah,
that.
I know. I heard it on the radio, and I'm like, yeah, I forgot about this song. Zach Bryan, he's also I'm going to see him in August, so I'm super excited. I've been looking forward to his concert for a while. So any of his songs, I'm trying to think of my favorite one. Something in the Orange is obviously his best one, in my opinion. I'm trying to think of specific songs. I don't really know.
Those are 3 great ones. Are you a team DJ? Like, are you guys playing country music before? Some teams, I feel like they like country, or they're like, absolutely not.
Yeah, it kind of just depends. Like on some days in the weight room, we have like a country Friday. And so it's like half the team likes it, half the team is like, I hate it. But I'm a huge fan of it. But we sometimes play country. We play Fast Car by Luke Combs. That was like we played that all the time last year. And so anytime that's played, the team's like shut it off. Because we played so much last year. But no, I'm not the team DJ. That's usually I'd say Kinsey Mitchell or Bree is usually our team DJ. I steer away from that.
It's a very important role and comes with so much pressure and like feedback that I was always like, no, thank you.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, I would play more country or like people think like sad songs. Like I don't really listen to the rap and stuff like that. So no one probably like my team DJ anyway. So
we would get along very well on a game. Wrapping this up, what is something that you want everyone to know about Indiana softball and that you're trying to show within this season?
I think when you look at our team, we talk a lot about like power contribution and just how you look up and down our lineup. Like everyone is so, contributes so much in their own way. And I think that's what's so special about us this year. And I think that's what's going to help us make this big run that we're looking forward to is just say I'm not having a great day. I know I have a teammate like Sarah Stone or Avery Parker, Allie Van Brandt, the list goes on of who can back me up. And then, you have pitchers like Bree and Sophie and Macy and even now Alex Cooper, like they all do so well together. And I just think they all do their own part to contribute to the team. It's just really special. So I think just the power contribution of Indiana softball, it's pretty special.
I mean, you guys, nonetheless, 1 through 9 and on the bench, like you've mentioned, all can hit bombs, and it is so much fun to watch. Taylor, thank you so much for coming on this week's edition of Big Ten. Best of luck to you in the rest of the season. I know I'm excited and everybody else with Supple America to watch how you guys finish.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you all for listening and follow along with all the Big Ten games throughout the week and this weekend. We will be back next week on Sydney Spin with another special guest.